Hey, it's me, Ben, and I'm back with another episode of the Communicators. This is episode 3, and today's episode is all about reading the room. You ever been told read the room? Well, I have been told that a few times. So I'm going to go over maybe some ways we can use our powers for good as communicators. But first, before I begin, I have been listening to a lot of feedback on the first couple episodes, and some great feedback I got so far has been to tighten up the opening. So I'm going to do that. We're going to start each episode now with what I'll just call three to open with. We're going to hit on those real quick, and that's going to usually play right into the episode itself. So we'll go ahead and do that. So three to open with today. First, the Cleveland Guardians. We have to talk about the Cleveland Guardians. I will not talk long if you're not into baseball or sports, but you don't have to be to realize that the Cleveland Guardians made history. No team that has been 15 and a half out has ever come back to win the division. They did it in fitting fashion in an extra inning walk-off on the last day of the season. It's amazing. It's fantastic. We have the best announcer in all of baseball, maybe ever, and Tom Hamilton to walk you through that. So a lot of people better than me talking about this and writing about it, just exactly what it means. I just had to say how amazing it was to be a part of this season and how terrible and unenjoyable it was up until about 2 months ago because they played some really bad baseball. But I love this team. It has been quite the season to watch unfold. So, second, we're going to talk about the Super Bowl halftime show. If you missed it, Bad Bunny is going to be performing at this year's Super Bowl, which is a great headline. I like Bad Bunny. I think a lot of people probably are not familiar or will get to know him a little bit. For me, it's interesting because he canceled his concert dates in the US, or maybe he didn't have any in the US to begin with, because he was afraid ICE would show up at his concerts. So this is a chance for us to get to watch him. I think it's really interesting. This is not a political statement at all, but I know the NFL does have certain relationships within the government, and the fact that he is a little outspoken towards that should be interesting here as we build towards the season. But that's a long ways off, says us here in September, and it will probably be February before we know it. But let's just enjoy everything leading up to that, which before we even get to it is what I want to talk about third, is Halloween is coming. We're a couple of days from October, and congratulations to all of you who left your Halloween decorations up all season long. I see you. I see how hard you were working. To those of you with the big skeletons in the yard, putting the Santa hat on it and the Easter bunny ears, maybe a Uncle Sam hat when it was the 4th of July. I get it. I get it. You've made it. You're all the way back full circle. You can go ahead and just enjoy it for what it is as a skeleton. So have fun putting those decorations up and leaving them up all year round. So okay, so we are getting into the standing part of the episode where we're talking about it's brought to you by the number. Well, this episode is brought to you by the number 88, as in I said 88 times in the last episode. So will I break it this week? I don't know. Stay tuned. Okay, so for one more real number, the number is 6, as in 6 cents. And that's where the topic comes into play for us today. For us, we're the communicators, as I've mentioned. You can sense when something isn't going well. You have that superpower. You can read the room. You can see when people are maybe confused or they aren't understanding what you're saying or they're not listening. Maybe it's time for you to wrap up that conversation. Stop talking. This ability really comes into play in all personal and professional circles. And I learned that this goes a little deeper. I coached rec softball for 12 years for both my girls. And I'll never forget, this isn't really reading the room as much as reading the faces of a bunch of 7 and 8 year olds, but talking about how to hit the cutoff when you're playing at second base. And yes, maybe they were too young for that, but it was my first kid and I was into coaching and I thought it made a difference at that age. So we're going over everything. And one player in particular, I could tell she was very confused by what I was saying. And I said, hold on. I think so-and-so has a question. I could tell you're a little confused. What do you need me to hit on or go back to? And she said, well, I would just really like it if you would tell me where second base is. So good for us to remember that. Let's start with the basics sometimes when it comes to communicating and to reading the room. But there are a lot of ways for us to put this to use. And so today I'm going to discuss 4 ways to use our powers for good and one that maybe isn't using it for good. Maybe it's selfish. So you decide. It's the last one. But our first one. So first one, family situation. So have you ever got to a family event or a family get together and you walk in and you have the feeling that something's just not right? Maybe people were arguing before you got there. Someone isn't happy about something. Maybe someone's left something unsaid. Usually these are really good during like big holiday events and family events around Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever. And because what are the holidays without a big blow up like that? But of course, the best thing to do in that situation is to fake being sick and leave. The next best thing to do is maybe to have a few drinks and just kind of settle in the other room. But, really, that wouldn't be our style. That's not us. We're the communicators. And most of us wouldn't do that anyway, of course. But it's up to you if you want to find a way to ease the tension. And that's not what this podcast is about, is to counsel you through that. It's, look, when something's not right. Do you want to try and break the ice or smooth things over or be the comic relief or all the above and help people get out of the way, or what do you want to do? But that is a way that you can use your powers for good. Second, kids. Now, kids never want to talk when you want them to. I have 2 daughters, and I spent the weekend out of town with my family, and my oldest daughter likes to play 20 questions with me and my wife, except we don't play and I never win. It's just how many questions until I can finally figure out what it is that I want to know. So that's normal. What's not normal, and this isn't really about when to read the room as to when to say something, as much as it is to maybe not say something. And you know your kids, and when they aren't saying something or when they're ready to say maybe something that's on their mind, you can sense it. So it's best to kind of let it ride out and just let them get to it in their own due time. But that is when reading the room definitely is in your best interest to use your powers for good. So third, work relationships. So do you remember that teacher that taught to the bell? You'd look at the clock and think, yes, 5 minutes left. I can start packing up. And sometimes you'd be like, what are you doing? We still have 5 minutes left. Most teachers would be like, all right, let's get ready to go here. But not that one teacher. And that one teacher was usually the one who was teaching the class that you had right before lunch, and you can smell the delicious meatball splash from down the hall, and you have to continue to sit and work right up to the bell, even though you're not hearing a damn word they're saying. The same thing happens at work. You're looking around, you see someone who's doubling down or plowing ahead, whatever the topic may be, and they don't realize they've lost the room. And sometimes they don't realize they've lost the room while maybe lunch is being brought in and placed in the back, or it's getting close to 5 and everybody's getting their things and leaving. And they're just so heads down on it. So you can see this. You can read the room. When maybe a coworker or a friend has lost the room. Throw them a lifeline. Use those powers for good. Fourth, this one's you. Hey, you need to stop talking. I need to stop talking. How many times are you the one that can't read the room? Are you overselling? You have a sale and you're ready to go. You have a client signed off on something and you just keep talking to the point where you lose it. Or maybe you can't tell people are shifting their weight because they've listened to you and they need to go to the bathroom, or they want a fresh cup of coffee, or they start to do the yeah, I'm listening, where they're typing and they're showing you that they have some work to do. But you're the one that needs to read the room here. Read the room, stop talking, move on, let them get back to their day. And fifth, this is the chatty Cathy's. And this is where, look, you have this power, you have this skill, you have this ability, you might as well use it for your own good at times. And you know when you see that person, a neighbor, you're walking down the street, or maybe it's a parent that you see at school, or a teacher or a coach or something. And if you don't know who that person is, you know what they say, it's you. So back to the fourth point there I made a second ago, but let's get back to the fifth one. Hey, maybe it's someone in the grocery store. You're like, oh, I need to go down the other aisle because I don't want to talk to them. When you're going to get stuck talking. It's the power you have. Get out of there. Don't even mess around. Save your energy for the other four ways to use the power for good and help people. Just use your powers to figure that out and avoid those conversations. So those are the five. So why does this skill set matter? Why are we even talking about it? Why practice this? Well, here's the thing. Have you ever been told by people in your friends group or your work group that you're the glue? Maybe things work better when you're there or when you're involved. Um, when you're not there, people are like, man, I don't know what was different. It just didn't go as well. That's because you have this skill set. Okay. This whole podcast is about trying to embrace the fact that we're the communicators and we are trying to improve communication in general. So the fact is, you have that skill. You can't be mad when others don't have it, even though it can be really annoying when people don't realize it. But hey, it's you. You're the one. You're the one that diffuses situations. Simplify these situations for other people. Help them. If you see when they're confused, stop, pull them aside, read the room, and let people catch up. Help people communicate with grace, with kindness. You're the one that can help this. Do it. After all, we are the communicators. So that's this week's episode. I'm going to end like I always do with the red pen. I'm bringing the red pen out today and I'm crossing out noise pollution. Look, I am so tired of people putting their phones on speaker or playing videos in a restaurant or showing reels in a restaurant or walking down the aisle at the grocery store talking to somebody on FaceTime. Stop it. We don't all need to hear your conversations. It's annoying. Nobody likes it. Everybody's looking at you. Yeah, they are. You need to learn to read the room because when you have that on and when that noise is going on, it's agitating everybody else around you. So we don't all meditate in our calm like I am. Can't you tell how calm I am with this stuff? But the fact is, stop doing that. That's this week's red pen. Okay, hey, thanks a lot. This is episode 3. I will be back in the next week or so. Looking forward to it. Any ideas, any suggestions, you want to be a guest? We still don't have a sponsor. Let us know because I would love to talk to you. But until then, thanks a lot. Thanks for listening.